evening. My name is Cynthia Johnson, and tonight I'm going to report on the problem of child abuse and neglect in our communities. It is a staggering 3.3 million children referrals that are coming into the National Child Abuse and Neglect Data Systems every year. Out of those 3.3 million, 899,000 referrals are being reported as true and accurate accounts of a child being abused in the United States. The problem with child abuse and neglect is that it attacks the minds and attaches you to a man thing instead of God's vision for our lives. Man is too often guided by mindless thinking and profit instead of human compassion for the individual, as in the nature of the Lord. And that can be found in Mark 9:42. The solution I propose is to go back to the teachings of God and through His grace take a redemptive action to acquire ways to protect our children. Preventing child abuse or neglect is something I feel strongly about. Excuse me. I pray that I gain support of each of you when it comes to making the lives of our children better and stronger. I feel that I'm qualified to present this information due to my years of service and experience as a court-appointed special advocate for children in our community, working side by side with the Department of Family and Children Services to assist in removal or reunification of our families and our children, and also working with members of church and government organizations who stand on God's word. My goal is to persuade you on the importance of community involvement, when to get involved in the reporting of our children, when to take action, and why we need to get involved. Tonight I will talk to you about, again, why it's important, why we need to, and when to. Let's begin. Why it's important. Excessive withdrawals, fearfulness in our children. Our children don't seem to be attached to any one parent or caregiver. Untreated illness or physical injury. Clothing that are ill-fitting. Knowing the signs brings us to the next point of why. Why we need to get involved. The effects of child abuse or neglect are lifelong. Every child should be your business when it comes to neglect. And every child should be protected as one of God's treasures. Finally, when to take action. Immediately report the abuse if you have a gut feeling something is wrong. If you see a child that doesn't have the basic necessities, food, clothing, shelter, please report it. If you see a child that you think is sexually active and they're under the age of 16, please report it. In conclusion, I would like to conclude by stating once more why it's important to know the signs, why we need to get involved, and when to take action. It is important for each of us to do our parts in protecting our children. As we have seen, as we have heard, the numbers are alarmingly high, and they are at a steady climb each and every day. I encourage and challenge each of you to get involved. Take action on saving our children. You have the power to create positive change in your community by stopping the abuse and neglect that occurs in our neighborhoods. If you suspect child abuse and neglect, contact your local child CPS office. Contact the local police if you think that child is in immediate danger. I thank you for allowing me to be your speaker this evening. Thank you for sharing in your questions. I thank you. Good night.